Rain pounds against the windows, creating a gloomy atmosphere. Lin Jie, our MC, an optimistic and slightly quirky bookstore clerk, stares out at the deserted street. His only companions are the books stacked high on the shelves. He contemplates the lack of customers due to the bad weather. Our MC sighs, hoping for the rain to let up soon. However, he considers the possibility that someone might have forgotten their umbrella, forcing them to seek shelter in his bookstore until the rain subsides as he glances at the umbrella stand by the entrance. Suddenly, amidst the torrential downpour, a mysterious woman appears. She skillfully fights off a group of thugs, single-handedly like an elite warrior, although not without sustaining some injuries. Realizing she needs a safe haven to recover, she stumbles upon the only operational bookstore in the vicinity where our MC is residing. Uncertain whether it's a trap or fate that led her there, she cautiously enters, seeking solace and recovery. The door creaks open, and the mysterious woman steps inside. Dripping wet and cautious, Lin Jie, ever the hospitable host, rushes to her aid. Inside, our MC warmly welcomes the woman, complimenting her appearance and bravery for venturing out in such dreadful weather. In his mind, he ponders the type of books she might need and how he can approach selling her a substantial selection. He offers her a towel and turns on the heating, which raises her suspicions since bookstores aren't typically equipped with such amenities. She wonders if he is affiliated with an opposing faction, as he doesn't exude the typical demeanor of a bookstore clerk. As he engages her in conversation about books, her confusion deepens, unable to discern whether he is genuinely friendly or an enemy in disguise. The woman carefully observes our MC's body language and becomes aware that he is using psychological techniques on her. However, she remains perplexed as to why he extends hospitality, offering her a seat and a hot beverage. The mysterious woman eyes him suspiciously. This is not what she expected from a bookstore clerk. As she opens up about being betrayed, their thoughts diverge. She continues to question whether he is an enemy, while he tries to grasp her situation in order to sell her books. Clearly, our MC has one goal in mind, with his intentions of making a customer out of this mysterious woman regardless of the trials she recently endured. Upon hearing about her betrayal, intrigued with her melodrama, he tries to offer encouragement, suggesting that she learn from the experience and gain a better understanding of people. Although she acknowledges his point, she expresses her despair, having already suffered significant losses and now only seeing the ugly side of humanity. This remark deepens her suspicion of him. Curiously, she asks for further advice, trying to better understand our MC intentions. He advises her not to feel remorse for those who have already harmed her, even if they were once close to her. This response heightens her wariness toward him. As they talk, the mysterious woman carefully studies Lin Jie, noticing his subtle psychological techniques. She remains perplexed, unable to determine his true intentions. Continuing their conversation, she asks what else should she do, and he unexpectedly suggests vengeance. However, she admits that she is not mentally prepared to engage in such malicious actions. His suggestion leaves her even more bewildered. The mysterious woman cautiously asks, "Why are you being so nice to me? Are you trying to gain my trust or sell me something?" Lin Jie, unfazed by her skepticism, tries to lift her spirits by recommending a book to her, stating it might change her perspective. Catching her off guard once again, she fails to understand why he would recommend a book. Despite her confusion, she agrees to purchase the book, and he hands her a library card to fill out. As he sees her name, Ji Jixu, he realizes that she is the daughter of Ji Bonan, a wealthy tycoon. This revelation sparks a new business opportunity in his mind, to sell her even more books in the future. As Ji Jixu prepares to leave, Lin Jie kindly offers her an umbrella, explaining he wouldn't want her to get wet again as he smiles, telling her to just bring it back upon returning the book. To our MC's surprise, Ji Jixu suggests getting to know each other better. She states maybe we should spend more time together, get to know each other beyond the rain and books. Lin Jie, caught off guard, realizes his friendliness might have been misinterpreted as something more, but he decides to go with the flow and embrace the unexpected turn of events. As Ji Jixu walks through the raining streets, her mind races, questioning the true meaning behind Lin Jie's parting words. Suddenly, a mysterious figure materializes behind her. Lin Jie, a passionate book lover, is sorting through books in his cozy little store. Suddenly, he stumbles upon a dusty old book, and memories of his past life flood back. Lin Jie, holding the book. "Oh my, it's my own book from my previous life. In that former life, where everyone misunderstood his love for books, especially the ladies at work." Returning to our MC's home, where his room reveals a magical ring he had conjured himself. He strikes it with his fist, making a wish to own every book in the world. Nothing seems to happen, at least not at first. Unbeknownst to Lin Jie, a mischievous demon materializes behind him, creating a portal to another dimension. Lin Jie realizes this is his chance to possess every book ever written, but at the cost of leaving Earth forever. Without hesitation, Lin Jie steps through the portal, leaving his life as a humble bookstore clerk behind for the past 3 years on Earth. Now in a new world, he continues his role as a bookstore clerk. He revolves in the vast array of books available, allowing him to indulge in endless reading. Moreover, he takes pleasure in assisting his customers, offering them books that address their personal struggles. Although he hasn't had many customers besides the lady who recently made a purchase, our MC remains undeterred, finding solace and fulfillment surrounded by an endless selection of books in this unfamiliar world. As Ji Jixu walks past a strange man on the street, a sense of unease washed over her. She suddenly finds herself unable to move her hand. In that moment, the enigmatic figure turns around, acknowledging the book she carries. Her blood runs cold as she makes a chilling realization. Meanwhile, the heavy rain continues to pour as we return Lin Jie seated in his library. A new visitor enters, a familiar face. It's the same mysterious man from earlier, and our NC already knows him well. His name is Old Wild, here to return a couple of borrowed books. Lin Jie, excited. Ah, Old Wild, you're back. Did you enjoy the book you borrowed? They engage in a conversation about the book Old Wild had borrowed, which turns out to be written by a renowned late author. Meanwhile, Ji Jixu outside the bookstore makes a startling realization about Old Wild. He's actually a high-ranking black mage, known for his destructive abilities. His true name is Frank Wild, and he gained fame for wearing a serpent-like mask. Having once battled against one of the 10 Holy Knights of the Order, he left a path of destruction spanning 10 kilometers, earning him the title Destructive. In this city, there are barely 10 mages of such power, and across the entire world, there are fewer than 100. While the rain continues to pour outside, Ji Jixu walks away contemplating how Lin Jie can casually converse with someone of such immense power. Lin Jie and Old Wild continue their discussion, unaware of the suspicion surrounding them. Our MC ponders the nature of his relationship with Old Wild. Recognizing him as a regular customer, Lin Jie acknowledges the need to treat him accordingly. Despite being a loner, Old Wild is a father of 2, though his family and colleagues have treated him poorly due to his intimidating appearance. Lin Jie vividly remembers the first encounter with Old Wild 2 years ago. Intrigued by Wild's appearance and demeanor, Lin couldn't help but be captivated. They discussed a mysterious book of great value that Wild possessed. Lin, in an attempt to be hospitable, offered Wild some tea, which he declined, keeping his robes on due to his intimidating presence. Lin, however, emphasized the importance of looking beyond appearances and focusing on the heart. Curiosity piqued, Wild eventually revealed his daunting countenance, including a strange mask that unsettled Lin. Nonetheless, Lin activated his business mindset, always quick on his feet looking for his next sale, saw an opportunity to make Wild a regular customer, and began inquiring about the book. To Lin's surprise, he could sense the magic emanating from the book, a feat even other destructive mages couldn't achieve. Wild feigns ignorance while claiming to study magical languages. Lin seizes the opportunity and offers another book, the rare and intricate Devil's Language. Unbeknownst to Wild, this book comes from Lin Jie's own world, but instead of revealing the truth, Lin concocts a tale about a splendid civilization. Lin Jie feels a twinge of sadness, knowing he can never return to Earth. Yet Wild senses the nostalgia in Lin's voice and assumes he must be a formidable individual from that ancient civilization. Wild expresses gratitude for the Devil's Language book and mentions his need for another on the subject. Lin's business instincts kick in once again, prompting him to offer yet another book to satisfy Wild's appetite. Lin Jie, smiling. You know what? I have another book you'll absolutely love. It delves deeper into the secrets of the Devil's Language. 40 years in the past, the scene shifts to the snow-capped mountains peaks where a young Old Wild stands on the highest summit, facing the imprisoned king of ancient mage knowledge. The king demonstrates his power by uttering a single word, causing a crow to fall lifeless. He imparts a valuable lesson to Old Wild about the power of words and languages. Mages control the power of words. White mages write spells, while black mages recite incantations. Discover the sound of your soul and create your own language, and unimaginable power shall be yours. Returning to present, Old Wild engages in a dialogue with Lin, expressing his desire to borrow a book that will help him comprehend a difficult text he possesses. Lin takes a moment to consider the best choice. Lin requests a moment to consider the best book to assist him. As Old Wild waits, he reflects on Lin's kindness and support, especially after his devastating defeat against Joseph. He views Lin as a hermit of immeasurable power, capable of concealing his true abilities effortlessly. Old Wild credits Lin's wisdom and guidance for his progress in understanding the challenging book he has studied for 2 years. As Lin returns with another book, claiming it will be a game-changer for Old Wild, Wild is shocked when he realizes that Lin himself wrote the book. Lin confirms it, recalling his past fascination with rituals and that he never published the book, and this is the only copy in existence. Old Wild senses an evil aura emanating from the pages and wonders if Lin has sinister intentions. Old Wild astonished, realizing that the book discusses the previously unknown religion of the cult of ghouls. He wonders if Lin is wicked and possibly attempting to start his own religion. Lin assures him that the book's importance is secondary to him, and that sharing knowledge is his primary goal. He encourages Old Wild to recommend it to others. Lin Jie, reassuringly, knowledge gains value when it is seen by others. It's not about my authorship, but about expanding understanding. Old Wild agrees, keeping Lin's authorship a secret and believing that spreading knowledge is the price he must pay. Expressing gratitude, Old Wild conjures a gargoyle as a token of appreciation, a creature capable of sensing murderous intent and possessing great magic resistance. Lin admires the gift. He recognizes the value and craftsmanship behind the gift, contemplating its significance. They exchange thanks, and Old Wild promises an even better gift in the future, worthy of Lin's indescribable power. Lin eagerly anticipates it. After Old Wild bids farewell, Lin relaxes, contemplating the future gift. Suddenly, he notices black goo rising on his table, forming letters that spell out "long time no see." Lin screams in shock, realizing the significance of the message. Lin Jie, horrified. Oh no, not the black goo again. What does it want from me this time? This will conclude part 1 of this story. If you want to follow along and finish where our story left off, this recap chapters 1 to 3, please subscribe, like, and comment if you wish to see part 2.